Force works in mysterious ways. But what if it worked differently? Theed Palace, the generator complex. The laser gates slide shut, separating 3 of the most skilled Force wielders in the galaxy. On one side, Obi-Wan Kenobi, young, anxious, bouncing on the balls of his feet. In the middle, Darth Maul, pacing like a caged predator, eyes burning yellow with the dark side. And on the other side, Qui-Gon Jinn. In our timeline, Qui-Gon drops to his knees. He meditates. He waits for the gates to open, and when they do, he engages Maul with the serene, measured strikes of a Jedi Master. It is a beautiful, tragic mistake. Maul catches him with a hilt strike to the chin, spins, and drives a red blade through his chest. That single, fatal blow changes the entire galaxy. It forces Obi-Wan to train Anakin Skywalker out of guilt. It isolates Anakin from the one father figure who actually understood him. It hands Palpatine the ultimate victory on a silver platter. But what if it didn't? What if, in that crucial, silent moment behind the laser gates, Qui-Gon Jinn didn't close his eyes to meditate? What if he kept them open, locked on the Sith assassin pacing before him, and listened not to the dogma of the Jedi Council, but to the raw, urgent scream of the living Force? The gates hum. The red light flickers. Qui-Gon breathes in. He doesn't kneel. He doesn't close his eyes. He watches Maul. He sees the arrogance. He sees the way Maul holds his double-bladed staff, confident, balanced, expecting the Jedi to fight with honor. The gates open. Maul doesn't even have time to step forward. Qui-Gon explodes off the line. He doesn't use Ataru. He doesn't use Makashi. He uses pure, unadulterated speed, channeling the Force into his legs. He crosses the distance before Maul's front foot hits the floor. Maul brings his staff up to block, a sneer forming on his tattooed face. He expects a high strike. He expects a Jedi to aim for the weapon. Qui-Gon doesn't aim for the weapon. He drops his shoulder, slides under Maul's guard, and drives his elbow straight into Maul's sternum with the force of a speeding speeder bike. Maul gasps, the breath driven entirely from his lungs. He stumbles back, his yellow eyes wide with shock. Jedi don't fight like this. Before Maul can recover, Qui-Gon's green blade arcs upward, cleanly severing the Sith's double-bladed lightsaber in half. Maul snarls, raising the remaining red blade to strike, but he's too slow. Qui-Gon steps inside his guard, grabs Maul by the wrist, twists hard enough to hear the bones snap, and drives the hilt of his lightsaber into Maul's temple. Maul drops like a stone, unconscious, defeated, and most importantly, alive. Obi-Wan bursts through the final gate a second later, his blue lightsaber raised, a scream tearing from his throat, only to stop dead in his tracks. He looks at the unconscious Sith Lord on the floor. He looks at his master, who is casually adjusting his robes. "Master," Obi-Wan breathes, his heart hammering against his ribs. You defeated him." Qui-Gon looks down at Maul, then back to Obi-Wan. A small, dry smile touches the corner of his mouth. He was overly reliant on the intimidation factor of the face tattoos, Obi-Wan, a common mistake among the theatrical. The ripple effects of this single moment are so massive, they threaten to tear the galaxy apart before the Clone Wars even begin. Let's start with the most obvious consequence: Anakin Skywalker. When the dust settles on Naboo, Qui-Gon presents the boy to the Jedi Council. In our timeline, he did this as a dying wish, forcing Obi-Wan to take the boy out of obligation. The Council agreed out of pity and fear. It was the worst possible foundation for a master-apprentice relationship. But here, Qui-Gon is alive. He is standing in the center of the council chamber, tall, defiant, and completely unbothered by the disapproving stares of Yoda and Mace Windu. "The boy is dangerous," Windu says, his voice flat. "He is too old. He has too much fear in him. He has fear because he loves his mother," Qui-Gon replies smoothly. A trait I would argue is significantly healthier than whatever it is we cultivate here. Yoda's ears droop. Clouded, this boy's future is. "Then it is a good thing. I have excellent vision, Master Yoda." Qui-Gon places a hand on Anakin's shoulder. "I will train him, with or without the Council's permission. If you refuse him, I will leave the Order today, and I will train him in the desert." The Council stares at him. They know he means it. Qui-Gon Jinn is the ultimate maverick. He doesn't care about the rules. He cares about the will of the Force, and the Force is screaming at him to protect this boy. Reluctantly, Grudgingly, the council agrees. Obi-Wan is granted the rank of Jedi Knight. He is free. He doesn't have to raise a traumatized 9-year-old while trying to figure out how to be a Jedi himself. He gets to be his own man. He gets to travel the galaxy, solve mysteries, and occasionally flirt with Mandalorian royalty without a teenager judging him from the co-pilot seat. And Anakin gets the father he desperately needs. The difference in Anakin's training is night and day. Obi-Wan, bless him, was a rule follower. When Anakin felt fear, Obi-Wan told him to suppress it. When Anakin missed his mother, Obi-Wan told him attachment was forbidden. Obi-Wan taught Anakin how to be a good Jedi. Qui-Gon teaches Anakin how to be a good person. Fear is not the enemy, Anakin, Qui-Gon tells him one evening, as they sit meditating on a high balcony overlooking the Coruscant traffic. Fear is a warning. It tells you what you value. The dark side does not come from feeling fear. It comes from letting fear make your decisions for you. Anakin looks at him, his young brow furrowed. But Master Yoda says fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Qui-Gon chuckles, a warm, rumbling sound. Master Yoda has been sitting in the same chair for 800 years. I imagine he finds many things hateful, including drafts. Anakin laughs. It's a real, genuine laugh. He isn't hiding his emotions. He isn't terrified of failing his master. He is learning to understand the living force, the energy that connects all living things right now, in this moment, rather than constantly worrying about the future. And because Anakin isn't suppressing his emotions, they don't curdle into resentment. He still misses his mother. He still worries about her. But when he tells Qui-Gon about his nightmares of Shmi Skywalker in pain, Qui-Gon doesn't tell him to meditate on it and let it go. Qui-Gon charters a ship to Tatooine. He doesn't ask the Council's permission. He doesn't file a flight plan. He just takes his 14-year-old Padawan, lands in Mos Espa, and walks straight into Watto's junk shop. Watto flutters up, rubbing his hands together. Ah, the Jedi. You have come back to gamble, eh? I have nothing left to lose to you. Qui-Gon doesn't smile. He reaches into his robes, pulls out a massive heavy pouch of Republic credits, acquired through some very creative, totally not Jedi-approved gambling on the lower levels of Coruscant, and drops it on the counter with a heavy thud. I am buying Shmi Skywalker, Qui-Gon says. And if you attempt to haggle with me, I will remember that you use rigged chance cubes, and I will report you to the Hutt cartel. Watto takes the money. Anakin watches as his mother walks out of the slave quarters, her eyes wide with disbelief. He runs to her. He buries his face in her shoulder, sobbing openly. Qui-Gon stands back, watching them, his arms crossed, his expression serene. He knows the Council will be furious. He knows they will say he is encouraging attachment. He doesn't care. He has just removed the single greatest vulnerability in Anakin Skywalker's heart. He has just disarmed the bomb that Palpatine has been waiting patiently to detonate. Speaking of Palpatine, Sheev. Palpatine is having a very, very bad decade. His grand plan was flawless. Have Maul kill Qui-Gon. Let the inexperienced Obi-Wan take Anakin. Isolate the boy. Groom him. Feed his fears. Turn him against the Council. But Qui-Gon didn't die. Maul was captured, interrogated by the Jedi. And while he didn't give up Palpatine's identity, he gave up enough to make the Jedi Council deeply paranoid about a Sith presence in the Senate. Worse, Palpatine can't get anywhere near Anakin. Every time the Chancellor invites the young Padawan to his office for a friendly chat, Qui-Gon insists on coming along. And Qui-Gon Jinn does not play politics. During one such meeting, Palpatine smiles his grandfatherly smile and offers Anakin a seat. I hear you are becoming quite the pilot, Anakin. The Republic will need men of your talent in the years to come. Anakin beams, but before he can answer, Qui-Gon steps smoothly between them. Anakin is a Jedi, Chancellor, Qui-Gon says, his voice polite but entirely devoid of warmth. He is not a soldier for the Republic. His talents belong to the Force, not to the Senate. Palpatine's smile tightens. Of course, Master Jinn. I merely meant to encourage the boy. He has extraordinary potential. Yes, he does. Qui-Gon agrees. He leans in just a fraction of an inch, his eyes locking onto Palpatine's, and in that moment, the living force whispers to Qui-Gon. It doesn't give him a name. It doesn't give him a title, but it gives him a feeling a cold, oily, rotting sensation that clings to the Chancellor like a second skin. Qui-Gon doesn't know Palpatine is a Sith Lord, not yet, but he knows with absolute certainty that this man is dangerous. "We will be leaving now, Chancellor," Qui-Gon says. He turns to Anakin. "Come, Padawan, we have training to do." As the doors slide shut behind them, Palpatine's grandfatherly mask drops. His eyes flash yellow in the dim light of his office. The long game is failing. The boy is slipping through his fingers. The father figure he needed dead is standing in his way, like a Durasteel wall. Palpatine realizes he needs a new plan, a faster plan, a war. The Clone Wars still happen. Palpatine's machinations are too vast, too deeply rooted in the corruption of the Republic, to be stopped by one Jedi Master. Count Dooku still leaves the Order. The Separatist crisis still erupts. The clone army is still discovered. But the way the Jedi fight this war is entirely different, because Qui-Gon Jinn refuses to let the Council lose its soul. When the Jedi are drafted as generals, Qui-Gon initially refuses the title. "We are keepers of the peace, not commanders of slave armies," he argues in the Council chamber. Mace Windu glares at him. "The Republic will fall without us, Qui-Gon. We have no choice." "There is always a choice, Mace. You are simply choosing the one that requires the least imagination." But Qui-Gon realizes that if he doesn't go, Anakin will go without him. The boy is 19 now, a brilliant, headstrong knight, eager to prove himself. So Qui-Gon accepts the commission, but he does it his way. He doesn't lead from a command tent. He doesn't treat the clones as expendable meat droids. He learns their names. He learns their squad designations. He sits with them in the mess hall and listens to their stories. And because he listens to them, they talk to him. Which brings us to a clone trooper named Fives. In our timeline, when Fives discovers the inhibitor chips in the clone's brains, he is treated like a madman. He is hunted down, discredited, and executed before he can reveal the truth about Order 66. But in this timeline, Fives doesn't run to Captain Rex or Anakin. He runs to the one Jedi general who has spent the last 3 years treating the clones like human beings. He runs to Qui-Gon Jinn. Fives bursts into Qui-Gon's quarters on Kamino, breathless, terrified, holding a datapad with the medical scans. "General, you have to listen to me. They're going to say I'm crazy. They're going to say it's a virus, but it's in our heads. All of us. A control chip. In our timeline, a Jedi might have called for medical assistance. They might have assumed the stress of the war had broken the clone's mind. Qui-Gon Jinn looks at the terrified soldier. He reaches out with the living force. He feels Fives' terror, yes, but he also feels the absolute, ringing clarity of truth. Qui-Gon doesn't call the medics. He locks the door. "Show me," Qui-Gon says. Fives shows him the scans. He explains the behavioral modification. He explains what happened to Toop. He explains that the Kaminoans are lying. Qui-Gon stares at the holographic projection of the clone brain, the tiny, sinister chip glowing red in the center. The pieces of the puzzle that have been bothering him for a decade finally snap together. The mysterious army, ordered by a dead Jedi. The Chancellor's emergency powers. The dark, oily feeling he gets every time he stands in Palpatine's office. It's a trap. The entire war is a trap. The Jedi haven't been drafted into an army. They've been surrounded by an execution squad. Qui-Gon looks at Fives. Who else knows about this? Only the Kaminoans and whoever ordered the chips. Fives swallows hard. "General, what do we do?" Qui-Gon Jinn, the maverick, the rebel, the Jedi who has defied the Council at every turn, stands up. His face is like carved stone. "We do what the Jedi should have done 3 years ago, Fives. We stop playing their game." Qui-Gon doesn't go to the Jedi Council. Not yet. He knows that if he brings this to Yoda or Mace Windu, they will launch a formal investigation. The Chancellor will find out. The trap will spring early. Instead, he goes to the only 2 people in the galaxy he trusts completely. He calls Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi to a secure, unlisted hangar in the lower levels of Coruscant. When Anakin arrives, he's wearing his Jedi robes, but he's accompanied by his secret wife, Padme Amidala. In our timeline, Anakin hid his marriage from everyone out of fear. In this timeline, he told Qui-Gon the day after the wedding. Qui-Gon's response had been to smile, pour them both a cup of Corellian tea, and say, "Love is not the enemy of the Force, Anakin. Fear is. Do not let fear dictate your marriage." Obi-Wan arrives a moment later, looking exasperated. "Master, I was in the middle of a rather delicate negotiation on Mandalore. This had better be important." Qui-Gon activates a holoprojector. The scan of the clone brain appears in the center of the room. The red chip pulses ominously. "The clone army is compromised," Qui-Gon says bluntly. "Every single trooper has a behavioral modification chip implanted in their brain. It is designed to override their free will, to force them to execute a specific order." Anakin frowns. "What order?" "I don't know yet," Qui-Gon admits, "but I know who holds the detonator." He looks at Padme. "Senator, I need you to pull every financial record, every requisition order, every scrap of data regarding the Kaminoan cloning contract. I need to know exactly who authorized the funding for these chips." Padme nods, her political instincts instantly taking over. "The Senate banking committees are heavily guarded, but I have access. If the Chancellor authorized this..." "He did," Qui-Gon says, his voice cold. "I have felt the shadow around Sheev Palpatine for 10 years. He is the Sith Lord we have been looking for. He orchestrated the blockade of Naboo. He orchestrated this war. And he built this army not to defeat the Separatists, but to surround the Jedi." The silence in the hangar is deafening. Obi-Wan stares at his former master, horrified. Anakin looks like he's been punched in the stomach. Palpatine has been a mentor to him, a friend. "Are you certain, Master?" Anakin asks, his voice trembling slightly. Qui-Gon walks over and places both hands on Anakin's shoulders. He looks him dead in the eye. "I have never been more certain of anything in my life, Anakin. He has been trying to groom you since you were 9 years old. He wants you to be his weapon. I will not let that happen." Anakin takes a deep breath. He doesn't fall to his knees in confusion. He doesn't let the dark side cloud his judgment, because Qui-Gon taught him how to process betrayal without losing himself to anger. Anakin nods. "What do we do?" They don't wait. They don't give Palpatine time to realize he's been discovered. Padme finds the financial trail. The Kaminoan chips were funded through a shell corporation, traced directly to the Chancellor's office. It is the smoking blaster they need. Now, Qui-Gon goes to mace Windu. When Windu sees the evidence, his reaction is terrifyingly calm. He doesn't shout. He doesn't pace. He simply ignites his purple lightsaber, checks the power cell, and deactivates it. "We are going to arrest the Chancellor," Windu says. "And we are going to do it right now." In our timeline, Windu took 3 Jedi Masters who were promptly cut down in seconds. In this timeline, the strike team is different. Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Qui-Gon Jinn. 4 of the greatest duelists in the history of the Jedi Order stride through the halls of the Senate building. The red-robed Senate guards step in their way. Anakin doesn't even ignite his lightsaber. He simply uses the Force to push all 4 guards into the wall, pinning them there, unconscious. The doors to the Chancellor's office slide open. Palpatine is sitting at his desk. He looks up. He sees the 4 Jedi. He sees the look on Qui-Gon's face, and he knows instantly that the game is up. "Master Windu," Palpatine says smoothly. "To what do I owe this?" "Save it," Qui-Gon interrupts, stepping forward. "We know about the chips, Sidious. We know about the army. It's over." Palpatine's eyes dart to Anakin. He tries one last, desperate manipulation. "Anakin, my boy, they are committing treason. They are trying to take over the Republic. Help me, and I can give you the power to save." "My wife is perfectly safe, Chancellor," Anakin says, his voice like ice. His blue lightsaber ignites. "And so is my mother." Palpatine's face twists into a mask of pure, unadulterated hatred. The grandfatherly facade melts away, revealing the monster underneath. "Then you will all die," Darth Sidious snarls. A red lightsaber snaps into his hand from his sleeve. He launches himself across the room with a terrifying, unnatural scream. The duel that follows destroys the Chancellor's office in less than a minute. Sidious is a force of nature. He fights with a ferocity that defies his age, his red blade a blur of lethal precision. He is aiming for the weakest link. He thinks it's Obi-Wan. He is wrong. Obi-Wan drops into the impenetrable defensive stance of Soresu, absorbing Sidious's strikes with perfect calm. Every time Sidious overextends to break Obi-Wan's guard, Windu is there, his purple blade slashing in with the aggressive power of Varpad. And then there is Anakin and Qui-Gon. They fight in perfect synchronization, a master and apprentice who have spent a decade learning each other's rhythms. Anakin is the hammer, striking with overwhelming force. Qui-Gon is the scalpel, slipping past Sidious's defenses to score glancing blows on his robes. Sidious realizes he cannot win a prolonged duel against these four. He uses the Force to shatter the massive transparasteel window, sucking the air out of the room. In the chaos, he leaps onto the windowsill, preparing to escape into the Coruscant night. But he forgets about the Chosen One. Anakin doesn't leap after him. He reaches out with the Force, grabs Sidious by the throat, and violently yanks him backward. The Sith Lord crashes onto the floor of his own office. Before Sidious can rise, 4 lightsabers are at his throat. Green, blue, blue, purple. "You are under arrest, my lord," Windu says, his chest heaving. Sidious looks up at them. His yellow eyes burn with a hatred so profound it makes the air feel cold. He knows he has lost the duel. He knows his political power is gone. But he has one card left to play. He smiles. It is a terrible, bloody smile. "Execute Order 66, Sidious whispers. He isn't speaking to them. He's speaking into a comlink hidden in his sleeve, broadcasting on a secure, encrypted frequency to every clone commander in the galaxy. The order goes out. But because Qui-Gon found the chips early, the Jedi are not completely blind. Days ago, Qui-Gon had sent a coded warning to every Jedi general in the field. Do not trust the clones. Prepare for betrayal. When the clones turn their weapons on their commanders, the Jedi are ready. They don't stand there in confusion. They deflect the blaster bolts. They fight back. They escape. But the tragedy is still immense. Half the galaxy erupts into chaos. The Grand Army of the Republic shatters as clones turn on Jedi, and Jedi are forced to cut down the men they fought beside for 3 years. But then, something miraculous happens. In the 501st Legion, Captain Rex receives the order. His hands shake. His helmet display flashes red. He raises his blasters toward Ahsoka Tano. But Fives is there. Fives, who knows the truth. Fives tackles Rex to the ground, stunning him, dragging him to a medical bay to remove the chip before he can pull the trigger. Across the galaxy, the clones that Qui-Gon Jinn treated like human beings, the ones he listened to, the ones he respected, fight the programming. Some fail, but some succeed. Entire battalions refuse to fire. The inhibitor chips are powerful, but they are fighting against the sheer, stubborn humanity that Qui-Gon helped cultivate in the clone ranks. Order 66 is not a massacre. It is a civil war within the army itself. And back on Coruscant, Sidious realizes his ultimate victory has been fractured. He unleashes a massive wave of Force lightning, blowing the 4 Jedi back. He scrambles to his feet, preparing to strike Anakin down. But Qui-Gon is faster. He doesn't block the lightning. He absorbs it, taking the full, agonizing brunt of the dark side into his own body to shield his Padawan. As the lightning tears through him, Qui-Gon throws his lightsaber. The green blade spins through the air and buries itself deep in Darth Sidious's chest. The lightning stops. Sidious looks down at the blade, his eyes wide with shock. He looks up at Qui-Gon, who is on his knees, smoking, dying. Sidious collapses. The Sith Lord is dead. Anakin rushes to his master's side. He pulls Qui-Gon into his arms, tears streaming down his face. "Master," Anakin chokes out. "Hold on. The medics are coming." Qui-Gon looks up at the boy he saved from the desert. The boy who was supposed to fall to the dark side but didn't. The boy who is now a man, a hero, a Jedi in the truest sense of the word. Qui-Gon smiles. It is a peaceful, radiant smile. "Do not weep for me, Anakin. I am one with the living Force. And you have brought balance." Qui-Gon Jinn closes his eyes. And then, he does something no Jedi has ever done before. He doesn't leave a body behind. He fades away, his robes collapsing empty onto the floor. He has become more powerful than anyone could possibly imagine. The galaxy does not heal overnight. The Republic is fractured. The Jedi Order has to rebuild itself from the ground up, abandoning its dogmatic, rigid rules in favor of the compassion and connection that Qui-Gon championed. Mace Windu steps down as Master of the Order. realizing his way was too close to the dark. Obi-Wan Kenobi becomes a legendary teacher, passing on the lessons of his master to a new generation of Jedi. And Anakin Skywalker. Anakin leaves the Order. He doesn't fall to the dark side. He just chooses a different path. He returns to Naboo with Padme. They raise their twins, Luke and Leia, in the sunlight, not in hiding. Anakin builds droids, fixes speeders, and teaches his children how to listen to the Force. Years later, Anakin is sitting on the veranda of their lake house, watching Luke and Leia play in the grass. He feels a shift in the air, a warmth. He turns his head. Sitting on the railing beside him, glowing with a faint blue-white light, is the Force ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. Anakin smiles. "Master, do you think the Force wanted this?" Qui-Gon looks out at the children, at the peaceful galaxy, at the boy who didn't break. "The Force doesn't want anything, Anakin. It simply is. What we do with it, that's on us." Qui-Gon smiles back. "And I think we did all right. May the Force be with you."